preparing now. Hopefully we're here it says setting it up.
Okay. All right. So if we've got a little bit of a gap time, we just get to be seen.
All right, good
All
morning,
right.
everybody.
All right. So welcome, everyone. It's wonderful to have you here. And if there's any others that are joining in, there may be a third that was going to come in. And if not, then that's just perfect. Here we are, this beautiful community. Want to welcome you, Mona and Katherine, for our time together here, joining Michelle and myself and our intrepid third cohort of Adriana D. Marvel, who is on another venture today. And so we wish her well in that today. So as we've mentioned today, we're going to do 3 rounds. And the way that we're going to do it is the first one is to really give you an opportunity just to beam out quickly in about 30 seconds or so, your name, where you are in the world, and your title. And I know that titles, sometimes you might have several and they change, just whatever's here for you today. So if we could have Katherine, if you would begin, please.
Sure. So I am a holistic health psychologist. I'm an author, speaker, and probably most importantly now, I'm also a soul healing expert. And I currently live in North Carolina.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Mona, welcome. And if you would please share us those as well, please.
Sure. Hi, my name is Mona Ali. I am a scientist and an educator, an academic. I work in holistic trauma healing and life transition coaching with a lifetime of academia in my brain and my body. I live in Alberta, Canada,
Okay.
and yeah, I'm tuning in from Edmonton today.
All right. Thank you so much. It's really great. All right, Michelle, if you would please share with us.
Sure. Hi, guys. It's so great to be here with you. I'm so sorry for the technical delays there. I'm Michelle Boshard. I call myself the natural entrepreneur. I'm a biologist by formal training, but I'm a digital marketer now, and I'm a mom of a guy on the autism spectrum, and a daughter, beautiful daughter, 17, going on 31. And I live on the west coast of Vancouver Island, and yeah, I call myself the natural entrepreneur.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. And I'm Lorna, and I'm here in British Columbia on the western side of Canada. So we've got a few Canadians here, and I love that tipping down into the US, really tapping into our collective awareness and our collective unity, beyond borders, beyond anything that's happening. Here we are, the soul of who we are, and we are here. My title currently, it seems to change, Sex and Spirit Alchemist of the Feminine-Led Life, somatic sexologist, speaker, poet, and what else is in there? Something else, story unweaver. So look forward to hearing each of what you will share today. The magic that seems to happen in this circle, it seems like no matter who is here, there's just such a richness that happens. And I'm really invite each of us right now. And I know I'm feeling a little bit blah, blah, partly I think because of the technology things and stuff like that. But I also sense that there's something else. So I'm just going to invite each of us right now just to take a moment and just to breathe in. I think that sometimes, often what in our culture we're afraid of is that of silence and stillness. So I invite us each into that in this moment. So I want to again thank each of you for being here today, for the presence that you bring, the gift that you are, and the light that you are in the world. And all that flows in this conversation beyond the words, between the words, and through the words. May it be that which truly uplifts us and reinforces not only our own light, our own message, and our mission in the world, but that of how we are coming together by no accident, perfectly in divine timing, and that the voice that you speak with is recognized as a voice that is greater than our own. And it is a voice that speaks for all and as all.
Beautiful.
Thank you for being here. The way that we do our circle is a way, and when I used to teach elementary school, I found that coming back, say after Easter holidays or something, I wanted to always, had the carpet, and the children would sit on the carpet and we would talk, and I would say, okay, tell me what you do at Easter holidays. And the pattern was that they would be sitting there, they'd be sitting in rows, facing me. And I thought, no, I'm going to switch it up. So I actually had them sit around the perimeter of the carpet. And I said, we're going to tell each other what we did over the Easter holidays. And I said, usually you tell me and you're looking at me. This time we're going to talk to each other. And I said, I'm going to ask the question and I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm still going to be listening, but I want it so that you can be talking to each other. And that there will be times where, excuse me, that somebody might talk and somebody else might talk at the same time. And I said, that's okay. Just feel into it and find out if it's your time to continue to talk or if it's your time to go silent and let their person talk and it'll be your turn. I'm not going to call names. I'm just going to let you tune into when it's your time to talk. And in that experience, it was really a profound experience because what happened was that the children started to stop looking at me and getting validation from me or me as the authority, but to start to weave the circle together, to be able to let their voices to heard. And they didn't have to fear that, well, if I don't get spoken now, or I have to talk out and all that. It was just they were able to realize and sink into that collective voice that was happening. And so that's one of the things that we've brought into the circle, a bit of that piece about just the listening in. So we invite you to, and I this comes from me, what am I going to say, what I'm going to say when I talk about my things and this script, and it's kind of, no, we're putting the script down because you are the living script. You are the living message. And whatever's ready to come through you today will come through perfectly beyond any script. And that's the aliveness of who we are and what we are here and what we're about, all of us, beyond even the circle today. So the way that I'll do it is I'm going to pick someone, interesting. No, it feels just to totally sink into that whole circle experience. And we're going to have, when it's your, I'm going to really sink into that when you feel it's your turn to speak, and we'll mute our mics. And then when it's your turn to speak, just to come off mic and to share. And so you'll get to share, and again, your gifts in the world, who you are as a gift, and the gifts you bring, your superpowers, whatever that is, who you serve and how, whether that's one-on-ones, group, whatever, retreats, whatever that is. And then the third one first, and then your why. Why do you serve? And in whatever order you want to share those in, they're in the chat that Michelle has put there. Thank you, Michelle. And once somebody starts to speak, then I will put the timer on for the 5 minutes. You'll start to see it in my little window when it starts to count down, and the music will come in to say that that's at the end. If you're in the middle of a sentence, please go ahead and finish that. But we just really want to honor the time for each person to share. And then the next thing we're going to do is that of the weaving of the circle. So whoever has just shared will share. Then the next person who feels to speak will actually pick up a thread of something that that person just prior to shared, and something that you can connect to. Maybe it's, I really resonate with that, or some place to acknowledge that person, to make a connection, and then use the remainder of your 5 minutes to share of your thing. And we'll just pick up those threads and weave throughout. And then whoever shared first will take a thread of something that the first person shared, or that the last person shared, and weave that in. So that's one of the ways we like to weave our circle. All right. So if we can just go ahead and everybody's put on to mute. And again, thank you. And just being in this beautiful space together that is here because you are here.
Well, I'd actually love to go first. So appreciate you guys being here. And Lorna, you can start the timer. So my name's Michelle. And I call myself the natural entrepreneur. Really, I'm a mom who has a guy, as I mentioned, on the spectrum, and a daughter who's his sister. And in the course of nurturing him along his path, I've learned tons of stuff about body, mind, and soul. But it's been a journey that has led me through things. Starting off as a biologist, I didn't know how I would end up as a digital marketer, and it's really through the journey with my son's care and trying to provide and understand that I led there. I had developed a brick and mortar care company, respite and homeschool business, and I was supporting, when the school system and the other insurance and other things failed his needs. I was left to, basically develop his whole care system and his education at home. And when I had done that, I thought, oh, well, if I can do it for him, I know there's lots of other people in my situation who needed that. So I had developed a care business. We had to shut it down just because of COVID, but I had already started to serve people in the community online with information and that sort of thing. So I dug deep, but when we had shut the business down, the costs of care for these very exhausted families was borderline prohibitive. And we had situations where parents are quitting their jobs to come home to work and not getting a break at all, and having intense pretty significant meltdowns or self-injury or aggression, and a lot of mental health issues, financial issues, I used to call it like in Stranger Things when there's that upside down world and it looks the same, but it's very different. That's how it sort of feels sometimes if you don't have autism in your life and you don't, to make a parallel. And so I felt like the respite and the homeschool care was a critical service. Like, you can't just hire the babysitter down the street. And I felt like it was a horrible thing to be able to order pizza and get pizza easier than you could care for something as important as your children. So I went on a mama bear mission, and I had started into the digital online world already, and I went on a mama bear mission to figure out how, we could keep this as an essential service, serving people in their homes and in community. And I started looking for that bake sale that was going to help subsidize the care. And so, I went through stocks and crypto and MLMs and real estate and all the things. And then one day I was watching a kid on TikTok with gold teeth and Lamborghini, and I thought, there is money in there, their interwebs, and how do we not just like get that from there to like paying for care? So I fast forward through 5 years of significant business development, online marketing training, and personal development stuff. Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, their whole suites, and all the tech stuff I learned, all the tech. So building funnels and communities and websites and lead generation and sales and all those things. I wanted to create something that I'm about to launch, called Parent Dashboard. And I'm in the beta stages of it, but now that I know all of the things and have been doing online coaching to help people develop their natural offers, and I've been working with people to build out their tech to once they realize what their their freebie offer, their low, mid, high, and offers are, and how the tech can support them. I've been doing that coaching and supporting people under my natural entrepreneur brand. But really, all of that is to the end of creating Parent Dashboard. And so Parent Dashboard is a place where I'm going to be connecting the digital marketing clients that I work with, and their digital assets with parents who need to earn, maybe can't afford the respite, but who can sure as heck help share and promote excellent, naturally authentic, and service-oriented offers of my digital marketing clients so that they earn points and then they can turn the points in for respite care and other things. So that's sort of like the social purpose enterprise concept that I've been developing. I'm just starting to get the market testing going on the parent dashboard side. Been working lots of happy clients on the tech and digital marketing side, but I'm just starting now to get the parent dashboards. That's why I'm here, and balancing body, mind, and soul is a great passion of mine, and working with Lorna and Adriana to support this community and support the people in it with whatever they need is why I'm here. So it's lovely to be with you today, and thank you so much for coming to share.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, I
Really,
feel like calling. Oh, no,
no,
you go first
you're
then.
fine. You're
Please
fine.
do. No,
But
I knew this gonna happen. So just go ahead, please share.
thank you. You know what's so interesting? As a psychologist, I'm used to waiting and talking later. And so it is very natural for me not to say much and be the last one to speak. But I do feel a little compelled to speak because of a couple things. Number one, my superpower is helping people understand their life path and their soul path. And Michelle, you just shared perfectly how life doesn't go as we expect it to go. But what I have come to understand is that, to me, and again, I can say the word soul 1,000 times and not get tired of it, but my superpower and kind of where I'm at is I learned way too young what the soul was. My father had an accident when I was 9 years old, and seemingly, normal situation, family, and everything was blown to shreds because he basically was medically disabled at that point. As a 9-year-old, I was the youngest of 5 kids. I don't think any of us really know what was going on, but he never really recovered. But what was interesting about it is from a physical perspective, there was no reason he couldn't have. And so the older I got and the more, and actually I will say this too, when I was 16 and it was in high school, I took an honors psychology class, and within a week I knew I was supposed to be a psychologist because people have always come to me, and I love people's stories. I mean, it's just, I could listen forever. But what's really interesting about it is he died when I was 21. And he actually died on Christmas, the day after Christmas at 1:15 a.m. I swear his soul held on as long as he could so he didn't die on Christmas. And then going into psychology, and I can now look back and see every juncture of my way and why it happened the way it was supposed to happen, and all those terrible, tragic times that I've gone through in my own life. It's like I have peace with them because I know why they happened, and that's really what I do. I've realized that the soul is really at the crux of everything, and if I can help people understand their path through psychological healing, through soul healing, through teaching, through writing, to me that there's nothing better. And for me, I tell people it's not enough for me to help someone heal. I want to help them evolve. Because when you take that meaning and you help them widen their lens and help them understand, no, there's something bigger happening here. This is not happening to you, it's happening for you. I mean, I'm getting chills as I'm talking right now because it's like there's nothing better in my world than helping someone get to that point. And really what it's come to now is that years ago, when I was teaching across the country, I was asked by one of the participants if I would ever be willing to create a certification for other practitioners to understand kind of how to do this, because about 19 years ago, I created what I call the soul health model, and it's a holistic health model that with the trunk of the tree. In fact, I can show it to you. Well, I can show you a book real quick. That's the book. And this model is my baby. If I ever got a tattoo, it would be of this tree because I would never get tired of it. But a healthcare practitioner asked me if I'd ever consider creating a certification because they are not taught mind, body, soul in traditional care at all. I was a professor at a medical school, didn't get any of it. as a practitioner myself, none of my training had to do with the soul whatsoever. I mean, Carl Jung was one of the founding fathers of psychology. So my love is really helping people evolve through the awareness of the soul. And it is the body, mind, and soul that you have to integrate, because if you really want to consider whole person health, you can't leave one of those out. You just can't. And so, I'm just really a week from yesterday. So next Saturday, I'm launching the first set, my beta course for certifying healthcare practitioners, coaches, administrators to understand the basics of the soul, how to really understand it. Because we talk about the soul, most people don't really know how it influences every aspect of your life. And so I'm teaching people to do that. And, I have had people with tragic situations come to me as clients. I'll give you a very quick example. I had a client who was brought up in a cult. It was really horrific situation. And she'd been a therapist before. She was referred to me about 9 years ago. And she was like a feral cat in my office when she first got there. She was just so anxious. And she told me about 3 months ago, she's never felt better. She never felt like she could feel better because she understands how the soul works in healing now. And so I'm so grateful to be able to bring it to practitioners and coaches to get it to the next level. So that's my superpower. And so weaving in what you were saying, Michelle, about your soul path, it's beautiful how you took your pain and brought it to purpose.
Thank you so much. I'm excited for you, for your working with professionals to kind of weave into Western perspective what is when I was holding Pam when she passed in the long-term care, and sort of like you feel and you're like, okay, science brain, law of conservation, mass and energy, where'd she go? I want my mom. And that was what triggered me into my studying of energetics and all the 5D and quantum and everything like that too. So it just but for medical practitioners to be able to integrate that rather than having to go back to school and to work with you is fantastic. How do you work with your individuals? Do you do them online? Do you do one-to-one? Do you do groups? What else do you do?
Actually, all of the above.
With your clients?
So COVID, I've been doing soul healing work around the world for several years. So when COVID hit and I had to take my psychotherapy practice virtual, it was really no big deal for me. It was a bigger deal for therapy clients than it was for me. So I do individual work. I used to do couples work. I don't do as much couples work anymore. I do lead classes. I lead groups. This group right now, again, I can't wait to get this thing started. There's a lot of work that goes into a 6-month certification, but I'm a nerd. I love learning and I love, getting it out there. But I can work with anybody around the world, which is super cool. And I have to say this, and this is something about the soul path that is so fantastical. Spirit leads me to where I'm supposed to visit. And I've been led to different parts of the world for lots of reasons. And I've had to do I've been asked to do ceremony by Spirit. Strangely enough, I've been shown many times that I'm supposed to go check out Vancouver Island. And every time I have a trip planned, it's fascinating because I'll see something on TV about a place, or I'll see something in a book about a place. And last night I was watching a documentary on trees and the language of trees, and they mentioned research that's going on Vancouver Island. And I'm like, okay. And then, just knowing this, but I actually have a trip planned in May. So if we happen to run across each other at a coffee shop, let me know. Yeah.
I would absolutely love that. It would be fantastic. Come to Victoria. It's beautiful, especially at this time of year.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be there.
Thank you so much.
For a whole week. So yeah.
We'll get together.
We should.
Okay, I think this leaves me for last, and thank you so much for sharing. I'm glad actually that I listened in, because I can see that how I am connecting now to each one of you in a different way, which is fantastic. So the for Michelle, for instance, I hear you, I see you. I have my son has autism as well. So this is like when you were talking, I was like, okay, here is one connection. Katherine, you finished your sentence with pain into purpose, and that's literally part of my mission is reducing emotional pain and transforming that into purpose. I would say my gifts in the world came from my own living experience, and that's how I decided to get certified and study and do all the things that I do now. I'm a firm believer that we can heal our bodies physically and emotionally, and we have all the resources we need to do that. I am not a psychologist, but I work in modern psychotherapy, and I get certified in the space after 23 years being a computer scientist, living with computers, doing all the work in computers. And it was like you can imagine being very logical on every aspect of my life. And then I reached the point of complete crash down. Like I shut down, my body shut down. Cancer, lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, you name it. I got all the different autoimmune diseases, and I've been on a journey fighting them for a long time. Until the moment in my life came that the doctors say, Mona, you need to retire by the age of 40. You are not going to be able to walk between your bathroom and your living room. So I had the choice to continue being the high achiever scientist. And I lived in 5 continents in my life. I literally, the only place I haven't lived in is China and Russia and this space. Other than that, I lived in every continent, searching for myself and my body and my soul and my, like, who am I, what I'm doing here and all of that. And I'm celebrating myself now, 6 years now, no pills, and I am fully recovered from everything. So I believe if I can do it, everybody can. Yeah. And I believe that the emotion wounds that many of us grown up with, either in childhood, throughout life, whatever they are, they leave their imprints in our life. And until we heal these, we recover these, we do this self-nourishment, loving the self, create this connection. This is when the magic happens. So this is my gifts. I work with my clients now in my practice, basically to build this self-love connection in order to heal chronic illnesses, burnout, imposter syndrome, and I didn't ask for what type of clients, but I am, most of the people come to me are the high achieving women, thought leaders, managers, people who have been on the surface live a tremendous life. But it is like you look inside, everything is broken down and they are just losing themselves in the process. So that's my gift. I live with my intuition. I am very, very intuitive. And I live with like really weaving in the intuition with the science. So all the certifications and the practice and the trainings that I've done in psychotherapy so far, I embody that and put it in a journey with the clients where they are and where they want to be. And that's what I do. I still do computer science, but I do it on a research capacity now, just really because it's fun for me. I do what I do because I lived it and I embody it, and I feel like I could see what happened when I tuned into my body, I tuned into my being, the magic happened. And I would love for everyone to experience that. That's me. Thank you. And yes, by the way, I lived in Vancouver 2 years. Like so I know now that okay, Vancouver is another, and it is a beautiful city, but it is just far too crowded for me to live in.
Well, I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump over the ferry onto the island. So if you're ever back to Vancouver Island, then I'm near Victoria. So
Oh,
sure
lovely.
you
Yeah.
stop by.
Mm.
Lorna's lived there too.
I lived in Victoria. Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Such,
you.
such beautiful shares. And it was actually interesting as I was listening to you, Catherine and Mona, that connection with Adriana not being here. She is in Edmonton, lives in Edmonton, and then a tree is her piece, her visual as well. So I know she'll love to have a look at your tree and know that just speaks so clearly of what you each do and the work that you do in the world. um, so yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Mona, when you were sharing that aspect of the giving that label, the labels of fibromyalgia and lupus and all those different things. It harkens back to, I remember the gift of a health crisis when I was teaching. Oh, I'm going to pop my timer on here. I was teaching school and my body just, shut me down. It was sort of that, I think of that authoritarian thing, putting on, this idea of I have to put this into the kids. And it was kind of like, this doesn't work for me. My body, the gift of a health crisis that's really shut me down. And, the doctor saying, okay, fibromyalgia, get used to it. And I said, thanks and no thanks. And that's really what began my spiritual journey of looking at things beyond the religion and what else is here and seeing beyond the veil, if you will. It was interesting that I had grown up in the church, and those idea of sexuality and spirituality were just, both. I mean, in some ways you don't talk about things, but if you do, it's either in a taboo way or in a very heated way. So there was not really any peace or really any clarity in either of those. And so my journey has been this part about how do I be in my sexual journey and really find out who am I beyond this idea that I'm for the man, I'm for the marriage, so therefore disconnected from my own body, disconnected from my own sexuality, and not even any sense of like boundaries. It wasn't even a concept. It's kind of, I guess people can do whatever they want to me. And what I've come to, and that was 25 years ago, the spiritual thing that started to open up that way. 15 years ago, what I call my midlife sexual awakening. And in these last 15 years, it's been really bringing those back to me. And the three things that really show up for me are mirrors, movies, and merry-go-rounds. And they really seem to be a part of what, say, some models of how I operate. And going back also to this piece about, in childhood, about being tuned in. I remember very much tuned into my body. Okay, something's happening here. I'm noticing this, I'm noticing that, and being called a hypochondriac. So I just kind of shut down. Okay, there's something wrong. And now I'm realizing that that's one of my superpowers, is really to be so tuned in to what I'm feeling, supporting people and coming back into feeling what's happening in their bodies intuitively, energetically, physically, emotionally, and the gift of coming back to themselves through that. And when I call myself a sex and spirit alchemist of the feminine-led life, what's that about? It feeds into that part about, in some ways, the mirror, that when we look in a mirror, we look at the opposite. Okay, well, we've experienced what it's like when the male masculine is sort of in power and the feminine's there. Okay, let's look in the opposite. What is it? Oh, there's what we call it, female, woman's empowerment, the feminine rising. But I say, even keep on going, it's spirit. It's really coming back into this part of the awakening to our spirit, that spirit is what's leading its form, masculine form, no matter what body we're in, is what's there in service to the feminine. So I remember going to a health fair when my body was there, and somebody saying, we're not spirits, and you're all familiar with this. We're not humans having a spiritual experience, we're spirits having a human experience. And I thought, what do you mean? That's what really rocked my world, but it's what opened it up. And so to be able to look at, oh yeah, here it is. We're this journey of coming back into the awareness of our divinity, and our humanness is what's in service to and support of that. And So how that shows up in really reclaiming our sexuality, it's about, we've been taught, look outside of ourselves. So how do I come back into feeling what's here, prioritizing, knowing that this, it ripples out from here, not outside. So the beautiful story, that's where movies fit in, the beautiful story, and you've each mentioned that in your own way, of everything that's come before so perfectly, beautifully hides the truth, the soul of who we are, until we're ready to waken up into that awareness of our oneness and this journey that's unfolding. So for me, it's really, yeah, it shows up in different ways. I work one-on-one with people. I work, I've done groups, I do trainings, I do as a dom. I've been a domination and dominant submission experience, again supporting that masculine to be in surrender and that empowering of the feminine. So there's different ways where it shows up. Yeah, different retreats, and yeah, it feels in some ways like it's sort of in flux right now, to really, because it feels like things have just gotten really, it's time to go deeper and to not hold back and to really come forward in a really bold way, unapologetic. And I do that for all of us, to be unapologetically who we are. And so just feels just to leave it right now, because I know it's just sort of, things are just sort of still percolating and ready to come out. But that's sort of where I'm at, of helping people to come back, connect to themselves, sexual freedom, spiritual wholeness, and not any separate from each other.
Amazing. I'm going to finish because I started, so I will make that connection. It's been that, what an amazing circle today. Like, I mean, every time it happens, we're like, what an amazing circle today. But like, this was a really special one for me. And what I'm hearing, every time Lorna talks, and I've learned a lot from her about, connecting with ourselves. Like sometimes we're all up here, right? Or sometimes we're all in our emotions. And then sometimes, and I have had a really hard time being in my body, and I've learned a lot from Lorna that way. And that piece about, but we're not, none of those. We're not our body, we're not our emotions, we're not our thought. We are that else thing that is here to have that soul experience in a human form. And that what I love is we're all sort of, there's like it's like we're in this hologram where we're creating our own realities. And so what we emotionally generate and physically generate and the experiences we have, and the processing of them generates our reality. And whatever resonance that we're on, we're drawing in those experiences to have those experiences. And then we evolve. And Katherine, I love that that you help them evolve. And I love that self-love piece that you talked about, Mona. And reaching that self-love piece is after we have we've arrived, we've gotten our curriculum, we've digested it, we're moving through it, we're going to the place, and as things shed and we kind of like vibrate up and we read the self-love, that we tune into our purpose. And that's sort of the natural purpose that I feel I love to help people crystallize into what can be shared and in a feasible way. So I'm not sure I said that before, but I just really appreciated all of your like you individually as online entrepreneurs, essentially coming and sharing that whole pathway, and the love that you have, that you've learned, and the lessons that you've learned, and being able to share those out. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say to close it. So thank you. And I guess I should tell you, Lorna said a little bit, I think, before we were on camera here. But if you know anybody who would benefit from, having a chance to be exposed and would love to come to Connection Circle, obviously feel free to share or invite them to the group. We'd love to have a little bit deeper dive with each of you individually in a 15-minute interview individually. So you should get an email afterwards with a link to book for that if you'd like. And then we love our provider circle. We wanted to make this space somewhere not only where providers can, connect and share information, but then the client, like potential clients could be. So we've got our provider circle where we provide lots of business supports and exposure stuff for a small subscription fee. But then we're going to be doing these micro summits, and we've got one coming up on sleep that's going to come. And as we start to do these topics, we're going to want to have you guys, kick in your perspective in each topic. So I would love to have you on to a micro summit sometime. Yeah, I think that was it. Was there anything else that I missed, Lorna?
I think that was it. Yeah, you wrap that up. And with the connection circle, please come back again. You're welcome. It's not a one time, because number one, you'll get to connect with other people, further times to share what you're doing. So please keep your link handy, or come back into the group, and latch onto the link and join in as often as you choose to. We'd love to have you back.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I think that's and into our round 3 of
Yes.
Yeah.
We can you guys wouldn't mind sharing a word that you think encapsulates how you felt about today's session. That would be, I'm actually feeling to start with Lorna. What was your word today, Lorna?
Wow. I was going to feel into this one. Interesting. It's what's coming. It's a magnetic spiral.
Ooh.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And Katherine.
So 2 words came: refreshing, which is always lovely for me to connect with like-minded souls. And the second one was simply connected. I mean, it's for me, there's nothing better than connecting with like-minded souls. So I just want to show my gratitude for that.
Aw, thank you. We're so glad you're here and in the community, and share this and tag people, and then come on again. So Mona, what was your word today?
I think I share one with Katherine, which is connection. I feel a lot of the connection. And for some reason, I also felt very grounded. So grounded is one word that came to me while I'm talking and listening for everyone. Thank you.
Well, as a fellow special needs parent, I know how important that is. So I'm so glad that happened for you. And we're just
Is the key. You need, like, it really helps a lot. And I think you grounded, you help everyone else get grounded as well.
Well, and I'd love to talk with you more about Parent Dashboard offline, so we'll do that too.
I would love that as well. We'll definitely connect. Thank you.
Yes. And another thing that comes to mind is for you, Mona and Katherine, what we do is, so again, what we love to do is continue to give you whatever exposure you want, and we can support you in. Mondays and Fridays, we currently have a place for you to share links. So those will come up. So feel free to do that. And if if that thought comes, well, I just shared a link, good, share it again. As often as those opportunities are there, keep it going, because as we know, not everybody sees all of the posts. And so utilize that, put it in your schedule if you choose to. Hey, head into the group and post your links. Really, we encourage you, invite you to use us as fully as you can to support you, your voice, your light, your mission, your message, be seen and heard, and so that as many people can know about you as possible.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
we do that on those comment posts. And then if you want to have full-on posts all the time, we also have a bunch of other things in the provider community. We'll drop the links for everybody to see down below, and you can check those out. And for those of you who are watching on replay, because we did have to do this to YouTube and we're going to be posting it that way, make sure we'll tag Katherine and Mona and Lorna and I in the comments. And if you have any questions for anybody, drop your questions. I'm sure they'd be delighted to help or connect. And we can keep the connections going. So thanks everybody for being here. Thank you for sharing your time on Sunday.
Thank you, Katherine. Thank you, Mona.
Thank
So
you.
glad to continue the connection inside the group.
Wonderful.
Have a lovely rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now. Mhm.